A look at the legacy of the former Star Trek star Nichelle Nichols, best known for playing Lieutenant Uhura, who's died aged 89.
Before her death, Nichelle Nichols, renowned for playing Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek, finally opened up the discrimination and struggles she faced behind the scenes. After remaining silent for years, her revelation has finally revealed a side of the Star Trek that no one knew about. Join us as we unravel the details of what happened on Star Trek set. The untold struggles behind the Star Trek legacy. When Star Trek first premiered in 1966, viewers were exposed to a unique type of science fiction that depicted a future where individuals from various backgrounds worked together in harmony. One of the central figures in this diverse crew was Nichelle Nichols, who played the role of Lieutenant Uhura. She was known for her calm demeanor, capability, and dignity while seated at the communications console in her red uniform. Nichols's portrayal was significant, not only as a character on a spaceship, but also as a pivotal moment in the history of American television. During a period when black women were typically depicted in ways that promoted negative stereotypes, Nichols played a role that broke those expectations. Her character, Uhura, was not a maid, servant, or minor character. Instead, she was a valued member of the team. This was a groundbreaking moment in history. Nichols was among the first group of black women featured in a popular TV show whose character was not solely defined by her race or social standing. For many viewers, particularly young black girls, Uhura served as a role model for potential success. She demonstrated that it was achievable for individuals who resembled them to engage in significant, powerful actions. In her later years, Nichols talked more about her time working on the set. She openly discussed her experiences. Fans had been spreading stories for years about the challenges and mistreatment she faced behind the scenes. Nichols confirmed many of these stories, giving people a better insight into her struggles and the strength she needed to persevere. Her character as Uhura was not just an achievement for representation, but also a challenge on a personal level. It was revolutionary in various aspects, and its influence went beyond just the television screen. Young girls such as Whoopi Goldberg admired her. Goldberg mentioned that witnessing Uhura made her realize that black women belonged in space. In the future, Mae Jemison, who later became the first black woman to travel to space, also expressed that Nichols was an inspiration to her. These were significant events that demonstrated how one portrayal could alter aspirations, create opportunities, and impact lives. It was challenging for Nichols. She felt ignored and excluded at times. Her appearance in promotional photos was often missing, and her lines were frequently shortened or limited. Despite deserving a more significant role, scripts often only included a few words for her character. It appeared as though certain producers wanted her to have a minor presence on screen. Before we go deeper into this, let's take a look where it all began. Nichelle Nichols, the making of a trailblazer. Nichelle Nichols was born on December 28, 1932, in Robbins, Illinois, as Grace Dell Nichols. She was one of 6 children. Her father, Samuel Earl Nichols, was a factory worker and also held positions as the mayor and chief magistrate of Robbins. Her mother, Lichelle Nichols, was a homemaker. Nichols did not like her given name, so she asked her parents for a new one. They suggested Nichelle, explaining that it meant victorious maiden. The family eventually relocated to an apartment in the Woodlawn area of Chicago. Nichols went to Englewood High School and finished in 1951. She started taking dance lessons at the Chicago Ballet Academy when she was 12 years old. Nichols began her professional career as a singer and dancer in Chicago. She traveled around the United States and Canada, performing with famous bands such as Duke Ellington and Lionel Hampton. In 1959, she was featured as the main dancer in the movie Porgy and Bess. Her breakthrough in acting came when she starred in Kicks & Co., a musical by Oscar Brown that, despite not being successful, caught the attention of Hugh Hefner. Hefner, impressed by her skills, hired her as a singer at his Chicago Playboy Club. Nichols expanded her career by appearing in different shows, such as Carmen Jones in Chicago and Porgy and Bess in New York. She also did some modeling on the side. In January 1967, Nichols was featured on the cover of Ebony magazine. She was also featured in 2 more articles in the following 5 years. She kept touring with Ellington and Hampton's bands. On the West Coast, she acted in The Roar of the Grease Paint and For My People. Her performance in James Baldwin's Blues for Mr. Charlie was well received. Before her famous role as Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek, Nichols had a guest appearance on Gene Roddenberry's first series, The Lieutenant, in an episode about racial prejudice. Why was Nichols so desperate to leave Star Trek? What challenges did she face that she couldn't endure? The decision that changed Nichelle Nichols' life. Nichelle Nichols portrayed Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek, and her presence on screen made a big impact right away. She wasn't just a character on a sci-fi show, she represented progress, strength, and potential. Being one of the first Black women in a non-stereotypical role on American TV, she stood out proudly in a diverse crew on the Starship Enterprise. She carried herself with elegance in her uniform, completed her tasks with expertise, and proved that she was not just a part of the bridge team, but also belonged in the future. In private, things weren't always going well. Nichols later confessed that she had times of feeling let down and annoyed. She believed that her role was sometimes ignored. Some of her lines were removed and her character's significance was diminished. Despite her groundbreaking role, she felt like her contributions were being minimized. It was during a tough period that she decided to quit the show. Nichols was passionate about performing on stage. Being an actress on Broadway was something she had always wanted, and after completing the first season of Star Trek, she was offered a chance to go back to theater. She thought it might be the right time to make a change. When she went to see Gene Roddenberry, the creator of the show, she quit. He paid attention to what she had to say and did not try to change her mind. Instead, he suggested she take the weekend to consider her decision. If she still felt the same way on Monday, he promised to support her choice. That weekend became a significant point in Nichols' life. She attended a banquet organized by the NAACP where she was informed about a fan who wanted to meet her. Thinking it would be a Star Trek enthusiast, she was surprised to see Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. approaching her at the event. He greeted her warmly and with admiration. He expressed how important her role was, not just for entertainment, but for how it represented Black Americans. Nichols listened quietly as he explained how her presence on the show made a positive impact on children, families, and viewers who hoped for a better future. He said her role on Star Trek was significant, like a protest or speech, as it opened doors and could change perspectives. After listening to those words, Nichols couldn't leave. She went back to Roddenberry's office on Monday morning. When she shared Dr. King's words with him, Roddenberry became emotional. He always valued a diverse cast and had advocated for Nichols to be part of it. He stood by her when she spoke out about being marginalized and let her provide input on her character. His backing gave her room to develop. And now, with Dr. King's inspiration, she found the courage to remain. Roddenberry had a clear vision of a better world. He envisioned a future where race, gender, and background wouldn't hold anyone back from achieving greatness. Nichols demonstrated that this vision could come true. Her character wasn't meant to stand out for being different. She was there because she excelled at her job. She was intelligent, skilled, and well-regarded. Roddenberry made sure to emphasize this from the beginning and ensured that she had a significant role on the show. Nichols played a significant role in history by remaining on Star Trek. Her choice motivated others, including Whoopi Goldberg, who was influenced by seeing Uhura on TV as a child. Goldberg had never seen a Black woman depicted in that manner before. This inspired her to join Star Trek: The Next Generation as Guinan, a character made specifically for her. Mae Jemison, the first black woman in space, credited Nichols with helping her believe in her dream. Nichols did not quit Star Trek when things got tough, but she stayed because she knew it was important. She decided to stay, take on challenges, and be an inspiration to others. With support from Roddenberry and influence from Dr. King, she understood that her role on the bridge was more than just a job. It was a way to shape the future. However, this wasn't where the challenges ended for Nichols. She faced other controversies that not only affected her career, but also her image. The Interracial Kiss controversy. In 1968, a significant moment occurred on television that changed how Americans viewed love, race, and courage. This moment took place during an episode of Star Trek called Plato's Stepchildren. The scene was short, but its influence was long-lasting. In this episode, actress Nichelle Nichols, who portrayed Lieutenant Uhura, kissed William Shatner, who portrayed Captain James T. Kirk. This kiss was groundbreaking, as it was one of the earliest interracial kisses ever aired on American television. The historic moment was preceded by a lot of tension, resistance, and bravery. NBC, the channel that was showing Star Trek, was worried about how viewers would react. At that time, America was dealing with serious racial tensions, and having a black woman and a white man kiss on TV during a popular time slot was too much for some people. The network was afraid of negative consequences and requested the cast to reshoot the scene without the kiss. However, Nichols and Shatner refused to give in. Nichols claimed that Shatner deliberately sabotaged the alternate takes. He purposely ruined the scenes by making silly faces or looking in the wrong direction. His goal was to ensure that the only usable version was the one with the kiss. Ultimately, NBC had to broadcast the original scene, the one with Uhura and Kirk kissing. When the episode premiered on November 22, 1968, it created a buzz, but not the negative reaction the network expected. A lot of viewers loved the scene. The network received tons of positive letters. Fans were thrilled to see something new and daring on TV. They felt like they had witnessed something special. Although a few people were unhappy, their opinions were overshadowed by the majority who saw the kiss as progress. Nichols later talked about the feedback she got, highlighting a letter from a white man in the South who confessed he did not approve of interracial relationships. Despite his beliefs, he couldn't ignore the impact of the scene. His words, tied to outdated ideas, revealed the strength of that moment. It was evident that a shift had occurred, even if it was small. The kiss wasn't like a typical romantic kiss. In the story, aliens made the characters kiss through mind control. But the impact of the kiss was genuine. It depicted two individuals of different races sharing an intimate moment on TV without any shame or fear. This brief scene helped break down the barrier between black and white individuals in the media. It conveyed to viewers, whether they were prepared or not, that progress was being made in the world. Nichelle Nichols saw the kiss as a significant moment, not just something that was written into the script. It was a meaningful achievement for her both personally and professionally. Prior to this moment, Nichols had already broken barriers by being one of the first black women to have a prominent role on TV that did not involve playing stereotypical roles like a maid or servant. Her character, Uhura, was portrayed as intelligent, respected, and crucial to the crew. The kiss expanded on her legacy by showing that love, respect, and connection should not be constrained by race or skin color. Over the years, this moment has been recognized as a significant event, not only in the history of television, but also in American society. Young viewers were inspired by this moment, seeing a vision of a future where people of different races could come together as equals. They witnessed two celebrities who courageously created something meaningful despite facing fear and pressure. Nichols joked about the kiss at public events, but she always remembered how significant it was. She understood that in a short moment on screen, they had made a breakthrough. They did not force it or talk loudly about it. They walked through it smoothly and confidently. That's what made it impactful. Nichelle Nichols, beyond the Starship. Despite the end of Star Trek in 1969, Nichelle Nichols' involvement with the show remained strong. She continued her connection to the franchise by portraying Lieutenant Uhura in various ways. Nichols lent her voice to the animated series, where Uhura was featured prominently in an episode called The Lorelei Signal, and even took charge of the Enterprise. This particular moment was memorable for Nichols, as she had wished for a similar opportunity during the original series, but it never happened. Nichols continued to be a part of Star Trek even beyond the animated series. She acted in 6 movies, playing the character Uhura each time. Her final appearance in the film franchise was in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, which allowed fans to see her once again as the memorable communications officer on the big screen. In 1994, Nichols released her autobiography called Beyond Uhura, Star Trek and Other Memories. She talked about her experiences in her career and on the show. One thing she mentioned was that she was offered a role on the show Mannix during the last season of Star Trek, but Gene Roddenberry wouldn't let her leave her contract. Despite missing out on that opportunity, she kept working in different parts of the entertainment industry during the time between the original show and its later versions. During that period, Nichols had smaller roles in some movies. In 1967, she portrayed a secretary in the film Dr. You've Got to Be Kidding. After that, she played a tough madam in the 1974 film Truck Turner, opposite Isaac Hayes. This was her only venture into the blaxploitation genre, but it demonstrated her versatility and willingness to take on different characters. Over the years, her talent for voice acting led her to work on various animated projects. For example, in the show Futurama, she played a character who was part of a funny group called the Vice Presidential Action Rangers. In another episode, she provided the voice for her character's head, which was preserved in a jar, adding to the show's lighthearted take on famous historical figures. Additionally, she brought to life the character Diane Maza, who is the mother of Elisa Maza in the animated series Gargoyles. In Batman, the animated series, Nichols voiced a character named Thoth Kopira, showing her versatility in voice acting. Nichols not only provided her voice for animated TV shows, in 2004, she was on The Simpsons as herself in an episode called Simple Simpson. Before that, she played Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character's mom in the movie Snow Dogs. These roles helped her stay relevant in pop culture and demonstrated her enduring popularity with fans of all ages. In 2006, Nichols was in the indie film Lady Magdalene's, where she portrayed the owner of a legal brothel in Nevada. Not only did she act in the movie, but she also took on the roles of executive producer and choreographer. Furthermore, Nichols sang 3 songs in the film, 2 of which she wrote, showcasing her diverse talents. Nichols made a big impression on stage. She received 2 nominations for Best Actress at the Sarah Siddons Awards in Chicago. Her roles in Kicks & Co. and The Blacks were standout performances that showcased her talent in live theater. Nichols went back to TV and appeared regularly on the show Heroes on NBC. She portrayed Nana Dawson, a tough grandmother who takes care of her family post-Hurricane Katrina. This character was unlike any she had played before, and allowed her to delve into the complexities of real-life challenges and feelings. Throughout her later years, she continued to work. In 2008, she had a role as a psychiatrist in the movie The Torturer, and in 2009, she starred in the musical sci-fi comedy The Cabinets as CJ, a singing and dancing company boss. Despite being in the later stages of her career, Nichols remained vibrant and full of innovative ideas. She became a part of the TV show The Young and the Restless in 2016 as the mother of a main character, Neil Winters. Her acting in the show got her nominated for a Daytime Emmy Award in the category of Outstanding Guest Performer in a Drama Series, a highlight in her successful career. But how was Nichols' relationship with her co-stars? Did they fully accept her? The bonds behind the Starship. Nichelle Nichols saw her time on the set of Star Trek as more than just acting. It was about building connections that would influence her life and make a lasting impression. Playing Lieutenant Uhura, she worked alongside a varied cast in a show that broke new ground. Off-camera, the connections she formed were sometimes easy, sometimes difficult, but always significant. Nichols had a complex relationship with William Shatner, who played Captain James T. Kirk. They worked closely together and had important scenes, like the famous Interracial Kiss, but their off-screen relationship had challenges. There were tensions and misunderstandings at times, but those issues started to get better over time. Nichols eventually said that they made up and began to value each other. With time, both actors learned to appreciate each other's contributions to the show and TV history. Contrary to this, Nichols had a positive relationship with Leonard Nimoy, who portrayed Spock. They had a close and enduring bond. Nimoy was considerate, respectful, and made sure Nichols felt like a valued part of the team. He always treated her with respect and equality. His encouragement was very meaningful to Nichols, especially when she encountered obstacles as one of the few black women in a prominent TV role. She felt comfortable and acknowledged when she was around him, which boosted her self-assurance in her job. George Takei, who played Sulu, was a positive aspect of Nichols' time on set. He was kind, respectful, and brought joy and laughter to the cast. Their friendship remained strong even after they all went on to work on different projects. DeForest Kelley, known for his role as Dr. McCoy, was a person that Nichelle Nichols trusted and admired. She admired his gentle nature and how he treated everyone with respect and fairness. On the busy set of the show, where emotions could run high, Kelley was always calm and collected. His kindness never wavered, and he was consistently good-natured throughout the entire series. These connections influenced Nichols' time on Star Trek. She did not get along with everyone, but she formed genuine friendships with some of her fellow actors. Some relationships developed slowly, while others provided instant comfort and encouragement. But what else did Nichols reveal about her time in Star Trek? A star beyond the screen, Nichelle Nichols' experience went beyond her role in Star Trek. Towards the end of her life, she looked back on her accomplishments, challenges, and the impact she made. Her words brought comfort. Her smile displayed resilience, and her mere presence served as a reminder of breaking boundaries gracefully. She frequently talked about how thankful she was for being part of Star Trek. Even though she had some doubts in the beginning and faced various obstacles, she looked back on her time on the show with no regrets. She understood that her portrayal of Lieutenant Uhura had a significant impact, not only in television, but in society as well. She felt that her contribution was important and was proud to have been involved in something that brought hope and motivated change. The character of Uhura was just the start for Nichols. When the TV series ended, she shifted her attention to actual space exploration. Her love for the stars went beyond just acting. She aimed to ensure that everyone was included in shaping the future. She teamed up with NASA on a project to increase diversity in the space program. Through her leadership and advocacy, she inspired dreams that were once considered unattainable. The program exceeded expectations in its success. Dr. Sally Ride and Colonel Guion Bluford were among the talented individuals who became part of NASA's history, thanks to the efforts of Nichols. Judith Resnick, Ronald McNair, Charles Bolden, Frederick Gregory, and Laurie Garver also followed in their footsteps, making significant contributions to space exploration. Nichols played a key role in supporting them on their journeys, which she considered one of her greatest achievements. Nichols not only inspired others, but she also continued to participate in space-related activities herself. She served on boards, backed programs, and continued to support science and exploration. In 2015, she even traveled on a unique NASA flight that observed Mars and Saturn from a high altitude above Earth. This experience was another example of her connection to the stars, both in her acting career and in her personal life. In her later years, when she made public appearances, she was very warm. She said hello to her fans with the same happiness and kindness she always had. Every word she said was hopeful. She encouraged people to keep going, to welcome everyone, and to have faith in what they could do. Her message was straightforward but strong. Keep dreaming and keep striving for more. Throughout her time on Star Trek, Nichols displayed her musical abilities by singing in multiple episodes, showcasing her beautiful voice and talent. She went on to release 2 music albums, one consisting of classic songs and the other focusing on space and science with a contemporary flair. These albums highlighted her diverse talents and proved that she was more than just an actress. In her last thoughts, Nichols talked about coming together and moving forward. She acknowledged that her journey had been difficult, but she decided to concentrate on the positive aspects. The challenges were difficult, but the successes were also very real. She had supported others as she made progress. She had played a part in changing perspectives, making people more open, and shaping what lies ahead. The documentary Woman in Motion beautifully tells the story of a woman who played a key role in revolutionizing space exploration. Personal life and reflections. Nichelle Nichols revealed in her autobiography that she dated Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, in the 1990s. Their relationship lasted for a few years but ended before the show started. Nichols found out that Roddenberry was also dating another woman, Majel Hudick, who later became Majel Barrett and married Roddenberry. After discovering this, Nichols decided to end the relationship. Majel Barrett went on to play the role of Nurse Christine Chappell on Star Trek. Years after, when Gene Roddenberry was in poor health, Nichols wanted to do something special to honor him. She assisted in writing a song called Gene, which she performed at his memorial service. It was a heartfelt and sentimental way to bid farewell to a person who had a significant impact on her life. Nichols shared more about her past, revealing a short but passionate romance with singer Sammy Davis Jr. in 1959. She described it as a brief, intense, and thrilling relationship that left a lasting impression on her, even though it did not last long. She was married 2 times. Her first husband was a dancer named Foster Johnson, and they got married in 1951. A son named Kyle Johnson was born that same year. Their marriage did not last long, and they divorced in 1951. In 1968, she married Duke Mondi, and they stayed together for 4 years until they divorced in 1972. Her personal life included some sad events. Her brother, Thomas, was a member of the Heaven's Gate cult and passed away during their mass death in 1997. The cult planned the death to coincide with the passing of Comet Hale-Bopp. Thomas had been in the cult for around 20 years and mentioned in their writings that he was related to Nichelle. Despite experiencing both good and bad times in her life, Nichols also had happy and exciting moments. One of these occurred on February 29, 2012, when she went to the White House and met President Barack Obama. She later revealed that the president had admitted to having a crush on her when he was younger. When she inquired about it, he openly acknowledged it. He also mentioned that he was a huge fan of Star Trek, which made the encounter even more special for her. How was Nichols's death? And what challenges did she face in her final years? Health and death. In June 2015, Nichelle Nichols had a minor stroke at her home in Los Angeles. She was promptly taken to a nearby hospital, where a scan showed she had a small stroke. She then started therapy to aid her recovery. Despite it not being a serious stroke, it was the start of a challenging period for her. In early 2018, it was revealed that she had dementia. This made her fans very sad. Because of this, she chose to take a break from being in the public eye and stop attending events. It was a difficult choice for her because she had always been involved and connected with her fans. During the same period, the person closest to her faced legal issues. Her manager, who had also taken on the role of caring for her, was accused of exerting too much control over her life. Concerned about how things were being managed, her son, Kyle Johnson, sought conservatorship in 2018 to take care of her and make decisions on her behalf. Before the court approved his request in early 2019, a friend named Angelique Fawcett expressed concerns about Nichols's well-being. Fawcett had trouble visiting Nichols and felt that something was amiss, opposing the conservatorship in order to continue seeing her friend. In the meantime, the former manager filed a lawsuit after being asked to leave the guest house on Nichols's property. As of August 2021, this situation had not been completely resolved. Nichelle Nichols passed away on July 30, 2022, in Silver City, New Mexico, at the age of 89 due to heart failure. Her ashes were sent into deep space along with those of Mahel Barrett and Douglas Trumbull, as a tribute to her inspiring work in science fiction and beyond. Her life and final journey aimed for the stars. Outro. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.